Hello, Dr. Uche back here again. How are you doing? I'm your friendly publisher, book reviewer, biography writing coach, and I come here on my various platforms to discuss tips to help you on your journey towards writing your biography. I also do children's book read aloud sessions, and furthermore, I highlight works of fiction from across the diaspora, all in a bid to champion literacy and reading, which I happen to think are very important things for anyone. We also have the Dr. Uche Books podcast, so this same content shows up on that same podcast in the form of audio, so you can listen on your drive, running errands. I'm totally on your side. I know it all. In the sense, I know what your life is all about. I have children and I have work, and I know how it's hard to juggle all that. And most of the time what I do, I listen, right? I listen when I'm running around. So I know that could be helpful, and I have my team working behind the scenes. I record the content and I have them uploaded to the various platforms. So today I don't have a lot to share aside from talking about this manual, because I've talked about it a few times. This manual, which is very helpful if you're looking to write your autobiography or biography for a family member, and you're not sure how to start, you have no writing experience, this is here for you. This is available on Amazon. It's my 2021 publication, How to Write Your Family Biography, Great Questions to Use in Gathering Family History. And this is a very useful book. I wanted to highlight what it's all about in this video, really. So make sure you hit subscribe, okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, and the notification bell so you know when I upload new videos. So this manual is divided into sections. There's the introduction, and then it talks about how to convince your family member to write their biography. It talks about getting started, and then it goes into the various sections that could make up somebody's autobiography. And finally, just the acknowledgement and about the author. So the introduction is really very enlightening. I would recommend that whoever gets a copy of this manual really read through to get into the spirit of kind of my thought process in designing this manual. And then going on into how to convince your family member. You know, I'd like to think that somebody who went so far as to buy this manual already sees the importance, but you may have someone in your family who you want to convince, and you're really not sure how to go about it. And so I've given you some tips. I've given you some questions you could ask to convince them. For example, are there accomplishments you're particularly proud about that would be inspiring to read about? Was there a unique situation you survived or experienced, like a war or a pandemic? Were they notable blessings in your life in the form of people or situations? Are your children growing up in a different part of the world than you did, with different life experiences? Did you lose parents early in life? And do you have children of your own, nieces or nephews who never got to meet their grandparents? Are there people now deceased who inspire or motivate you in a notable way? And would you like to honor their memory? Even if you do not have a great interest in family history, is there a chance that younger family members may benefit from what you write down in your lifetime? Are you bothered by the possibility that you or a respected family member might live and die without any documentation of your life history for descendants to read someday? So these are some examples of questions you could use to convince your family member. Then it kind of goes into getting started, gives you some suggestions and things to keep in mind in using the manual. For example, it's meant to be a guide to spur conversation. It's an extensive list of questions grouped in sections and chapters, best tackled over a series of interviews. Write in stages over time, and you can change questions to better fit your situation. You could fill in questions or ask a younger relative to write them down. For an older relative, you can split among different family members to make it a group project, etc., etc. And then when you go into sections, this is a chronological order, or rather questions arranged in chronological order. So you have the early years in section 1, chapter 1, time of birth, questions around that time like full names of parents. Can you remember anything that happened in your hometown or village at that time? Now, in designing this, I had my mother in mind. I had to think about how she lived her life in Nigeria in the 50s. And so there's certain things that may not apply to somebody else who lived elsewhere. But again, it's meant to spur conversation. Obviously, it'll differ from person to person, but it is still useful nonetheless. Looking in chapter 2, we have toddler years. We have questions. What time would you wake up? What was a typical day? And here you may have to ask your parent, obviously, may not remember so much. Did you go to school? Did you go to a religious place or temple? And so on and so forth. Chapter 3, extended family and community. Did you have relatives around you growing up? Were there any struggles or challenges you remember from that time? Were there any notable landscape features like hills, mountains, and so on? And then we go on and on. And then here, you're prompted to put in pictures from those years. Include any pictures you can find, like your parents' wedding picture of the home where your parents lived, picture of grandparents, and so on and so forth. Then we go into section 2, growing up, okay? And in section 2, we go to chapter 1, going to school. And again, we have a set of questions. And I just wanted to take you through this sort of questions organized in this manner. Chapter 4, family and community in teenage years. And here again, pictures to include around here. And section 3, early adulthood. Chapter 1, immediately after high school. And chapter 2, university or college years. Going on and on, growing towards middle age, and so on and so forth. So the average person's life broken into sections, each section broken into chapters, where you have questions prompting you to include aspects of your life history. And then you have, you're also prompted to put in relevant pictures at various sections through the book. And this is how to write your family biography, great questions to use in gathering family history, available on Amazon, a 2021 publication. I hope you find it useful, and I'd love to know. Leave a feedback or leave a note or review for us. It does help us improve on this work. This is really all I had to discuss today. I wanted to highlight and discuss this book because I mentioned it quite a few times and I never really dig into it in detail in the other videos. So I hope you find it helpful. Feel free to book an exploratory call. Let this 2023 be the year you finally get your biography done. Book an exploratory call. Let's talk to you. Let's see how we can get you started, my team and I, on this journey, okay? Again, I'm Dr. Uche. I'm a publisher, biography writing coach, book reviewer. I look forward to meeting you again when I come back in my next video. And till then, happy writing and take care. Bye-bye.